afterwards. But first of all, just welcome to Upton Park, the worst kept secret, I think, in British sport over the last day or two. But confirmation, David Haye against DERECK CHISORA on July the 14th, licensed to thrill. It's going to happen, and we're hoping that there will be some 35,000 fans here for what's going to be, I think, by some distance, the biggest fight promotion in the UK this year. Sponsored by The Sun and Raynham Steel, and we thank them very much for their support. We're confident there's going to be a crowd. The promotion is actually being put on by Box Nation in association with Team Sauerland and Haymaker. We had a great weekend for Box Nation with the Mayweather fight last weekend, and a terrific show from Germany as well. And to be able to announce this a matter of days later shows just how well the channel is going, and we're confident that it will be a tremendous success. The fighters are being licensed, as you've probably read, and it is correct, they're being licensed by the Luxembourg Federation. And before I throw it open to everybody just to say the questions, speak to the questions as you wish, I should introduce who's actually here. On the far end of the table to my left, Chris Mayer, representing Sauerland Events. Alongside him, Francis Warren, who is manager of DERECK CHISORA, and then we've got Del Boy himself, and of course his manager, Frank Warren. On this side, on my far right, we've got Bruce Baker, who's chairman of the Professional Boxing Promoters Association, and his reason for being here is that he is representing the Luxembourg Federation, and he'll be able to explain to you exactly how all that works. Alongside him, of course, is David's trainer, Adam Booth, and the Haymaker himself, David Haye. Now, afterwards, as I say, we're going to be having opportunities for one-on-one interviews for the television and radio media, and of course everything that the newspaper boys need to get. But for the time being now, we're going to throw the microphone open to the floor. So please, you've heard, and I'm sure there's a lot of opinions out there about what you might think about this. Ask the questions of the guys. There was the big showdown in Munich, which was, I think, the phony war. Now we're going to have a fight for real. So the microphones will be being passed around now, so please can you hold up your hands if you want to ask a question, indicate your affiliation, and take it from there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Frank. Craig Slater, Sky Sports News. It is licensed to thrill, Frank, but there is some controversy about the licensing. I mean, you have been a pillar of British boxing. Is there any concern you're damaging the authority of another pillar, the Board of Control, by staging it in this way?
No, first of all, I want to make it very clear. DERECK CHISORA is not banned from boxing. His licence was withdrawn with an invitation to apply for a licence before the British Boxing Board of Control, whenever he chose to do so. His appeal, he appealed against the ruling that the board made. That was supposed to be heard this month on the 14th of May. Unfortunately, the appeal has been put back till sometime in July, which will effectively mean that Derek has been out the ring, could be out the ring for at least 6 months. If he was a footballer, that would equate to being out of action for 24 matches. Suarez, for his racist comments, was banned for 8 matches. John Terry's still playing for his alleged misdemeanors, and in fact this weekend Floyd Mayweather fought in the States, knowing that he was going to prison. The fight took place. It was the board's decision to do that. At the meeting it was said that he could apply not just to the board but anywhere to box, because that's his right to do so. Since his licence being withdrawn, he's lost half of the purse that he got for Klitschko in money being withheld by the WBC and legal fees, etc. I'm not being rude when I say this. He's a professional boxer. He has no qualifications, so he can. What's he supposed to do? Sign on? The appeal. He may win the appeal. And if he wins the appeal, then it's not a problem. But we haven't got the date for it. The fact of the matter is that Luxembourg, upon what the board said, he's not banned. We approached Luxembourg and a couple of other European bodies who all agreed to license him. Luxembourg are members of the EBU, the WBC, BA, WBO and IBF. They are have the same standing as the border control. The only difference is I think they are backed by the government in Luxembourg rather than here. Obviously the thing that's being said is that this is in the UK, the fight outside the board's jurisdiction. That was the board, obviously, when they made their ruling, must have been aware of that. The board, from their part, have promoted and been involved shows outside the UK, I think in Dubai, Egypt and Portugal in the past. If you go to Germany, where Sauerland Promotions, probably the biggest boxers in mainland Germany, promote, all their shows are promoted under the Austrian governing body. The border control frequently license British boxers to appear on those shows, and frequently members of the British Boxing Border Control's stewards from the British Boxing Border Control go and officiate there. I think only this weekend the chairman from the Border Control was officiating. You know, nothing is illegal here. I don't think it causes a problem. It was the Boxing Border Control's decision. They thought about it very carefully before they made the decision. And at the end of the day, and as you say, I've been very supportive of the Boxing Border Control when they were in desperate trouble with Michael Watson. I was the one who settled that action. I was the one who underwrote nearly £300,000 worth of cost for them to get them out of administration in settling the matter. I paid for all the MRIs for 2 years when they brought that in, 2 years for all boxers. I was the only person to do that, despite some of the bleating that's gone this weekend from, and I must say this, from promoters that are affiliated to Sky, because let's get it right, there are other politics involved here. The fact of the matter is, the fight is on. It's the biggest fight involving two British boxers this century, no doubt about that, and I'm not exaggerating. It's a fight that even hadn't, what had happened, some of the unsavoury scenes and some of the terrible things that happened in Germany had not taken place, I would love to have promoted. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to take place, and I don't want to overlook the fact that also the WBA title, Povetkin, Isara Povetkin is defending his title against Hasim Rahman for the WBA title. Again, from my point of view, if Derek is to win this fight, that's a fight that we'd like him to be fighting the winner, and I don't feel that he should be stopped from earning his living. You know, how long is somebody supposed to pay for something, and why was the appeal? The appeal would have dealt with this very quickly. So, you know, we've done something that's quite within the rules of boxing. It's not the end, as I'm hearing, of British boxing. You know, you're all out here today. There'll be, I believe this will be a sellout. I believe it'll be a huge event. And it will take place. There's far, far worse things happening in sport and boxing than what is going on here. And there was a lot of misinformation that took place, and was messages sent out immediately, knee-jerk reactions from what happened in Germany, where blame was apportioned to Derek and so forth. And I just feel that you know, no police charges have been made against Derek, and at this stage also against David Haye. You know, Derek has been with the police on 2 occasions. He's been back to Germany on 3 occasions, attended shows. That's where we are. So the fight's going on, 14th of July, here at West Ham. This place is going to be absolutely jumping, and it's going to be a great fight.
Okay. If I could ask David then, you were retired, David. I saw you recently out in Malaysia. It seemed you'd only come back for a Klitschko fight. Why then are you back for this fight?
I'm sure that's on everyone's mind. I always said I'd only come out of retirement for Vladimir or Vitaly Klitschko. It was only up until very recently that the idea of fighting Derek came into my mind. As far as I was concerned, me and Derek settled our differences, you know, in Germany. You know, he said he was going to come down and give me 2 slaps and break my jaw. He got in my face and ended up on the floor. So as far as I was concerned, that was sorted out then. But slowly but surely, people keep coming up to me in the street, when you're going to fight Derek, when you're going to fight, I'm like, I've already fought him. Why do you want me to fight him again? Oh, you got to do it in the ring, do it officially this time. I was like, okay, I was like, I'm not interested, I want to fight Vladimir or Vitaly, that's the only fight I want. But people just kept coming up to me, people who weren't boxing fans, regular people on the street saying, Derek, he's an idiot, you've got to knock him out, you have to do it. So I thought, okay then, why not? And then obviously Frank Warren made contact and put it to us that we could have a big showdown in England in a football stadium. I thought, okay then. In my mind, I was always anticipating fighting Vitaly Klitschko in the summer. So in my mind, I was gearing up to a fight in the summer anyway. That doesn't look like it's happening for a while. So in my mind, why not? You know, it's a fight against someone who doesn't do anything, in my opinion, that I haven't seen before. He's not 7'2", he's not a southpaw. You know, he's not coming off an amazing winning streak. It seems like it's a no-brainer, and I don't think there's too many people that, if they were in my position, wouldn't go through with this fight. And I'm looking forward to it, because the guy said so many different things about me, that he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And obviously he didn't learn his lesson in Germany, so I've got to do it officially in front of everybody, without cameras around, no tripods, no bottles. We can do it the old-fashioned way, in a ring, you know, and I can expose him officially, and it can be on my record for doing that as well, not on my police record.
No problem. Tim Haye, BBC Sport. David, I'd like to ask you what you think of Derek, and Derek, I'd like to ask you what you think of David.
I probably think the same as what everybody else thinks of Derek. He's an...
I don't like him.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Simple words. I don't like him.
He took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what everybody thinks.
Before David, you need to get style. Kane Rose will play that when Ja Rule had a hit record on Kiss FM. So cut the Kane Rose out. And you know what? Talk is cheap now anyway. You know, that was a lucky shot. You know, I'll give that one to you. Right now you're winning 1-0. You know, but come in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to whoop your ass. And you know that already.
Yeah, you talk a lot, you talk a hell of a lot, you know. The best thing that's ever come out of your mouth is my fist.
You know, the problem with me, David, is...
The bottle.
You know the problem with me, David, is I talk. I know how to fight. I don't blame you on anything.
We're the winners.
You know what? Hold on.
Where's the winning streak?
It don't matter, David. You know what?
It does in boxing.
It don't matter. Yeah, I'm happy you signed the contract. Now we just have to train and let's fight each other. That's it. You know, talk is cheap now.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I don't like you already.
John Dillon, Daily Express. David, your last two fights had massive build-ups and then were viewed largely by the public as disappointments. So why should it be any different this time?
I think there's one big reason. My last two opponents were very defensive fighters, and I normally look better against, you know, pressure fighters, people who come forward, people who give me something to punch at, and that's exactly what this guy does. You know, if I could build a perfect opponent for myself, someone who makes me look $1 million, it'd be someone around 6'1", 6'2", someone a little plodder, you know, someone who doesn't punch that hard, he can tag, but he can't punch that, not a one-punch knockout specialist, someone who doesn't do anything spectacular in any department, but is just good and durable and can take a punch. And that's exactly him. He is my ideal opponent. And I don't have to do anything technically for this fight. I don't have to work on anything in particular. I just got to be in shape, and I'm always in shape anyway. So when I'm saying this is going to be an exhibition, I'm going to break this guy down. I'm so glad that he's got a good chin, because if he didn't, he'd get blasted out in the first round. But because he's got a decent chin, he can take a whack. He's going to get a nice, slow, concussive beating. And I think the fans...
I think you heard it all before, you know, David gives you all the big talk, you know, get in the ring, you don't deliver. It's all big talk anyway, so, you know what, David, you keep talking. The more you keep talking, the more you get me upset. And the more I get upset, the more I jump over this thing right now.
I get knocked out again, eh? Yeah? We played that game before and you lost, don't you remember?
Yeah,
you lost. You was on the floor.
Listen.
You were unconscious for about 4 or 5 seconds.
Can I tell you a little story?
You dropped to the floor. You get up, standing around. He glassed me! What was that?
You know, I saw David Haye a couple of weeks ago in London. And guess what he picked up? He picked up a knife. You know, and I told him put a knife.
I was eating a steak.
Yeah, you were eating a steak, yeah?
Yes, I was eating a steak. Didn't you see that?
There was nothing on the table. Was there anything on the table? Exactly. Because he knows what kind of man I am.
What type of what was it, a knife that was carrying on me, was it?
I'm about, man. If you want to have it, we can have it now.
No, you're not really.
We've done this game already. You can't do it on the street. So let's do it in a boxing ring. When there's some rules, you can put some gloves on. You can rub up some Vaseline on your face. You can take a real beating. So I didn't get to finish you off like I wanted to. because all your people jumped all over me, who happened to get a slap as well. So,
Good luck. You talk rubbish because the man is not here, but you know, you keep talking, it's fine.
Oh yeah, he wants to fight me as well. I heard your coach, your delusional coach, he wants to fight me as well. This is the guy who's guiding you.
David, you talk, man. The talk is done, it's fine. I'm not going to say anything,
Your coach is
David.
saying he wants to fight me. You did the thing, I want to fight David Haye, I'm going to kick his ass.
Let's have some more questions.
Simon Viger from Channel 5.
That's his team.
Frank, you're obviously confident you're going to fill this place, so how much is this fight worth to the winner?
A lot of money. I think it's not just about money. It's a bit more about this being the fight happening under controlled regulations, under the rules of boxing in the ring, and the best man will win on the night. And I think I'm sitting next to the best man who's going to win on the night. You know, the unfortunate, terrible things that happen in Germany overshadows Derek's performance against Vitaly Klitschko. He had a fabulous fight. He was very you know, if he had a bit more experience, he maybe even made an upset on the night. Gave Klitschko his hardest fight since he fought Lennox Lewis, and in my opinion, I think he's going to really, really give David a lot of problems and a lot to think about. You know, styles make fights, and as David said, you know, he said something absolutely true there. He's got somebody who's going to come forward. That's what Derek does. He does not take his foot off the gas. Go and ask Helenius that. You know, that terrible decision in Finland that he got for the European title against a guy who's now ranked #1 in the world. He won that fight. You know, that was unfortunate. But the bottom line is, he will come to fight, and we're going to find out on the night, on the 14th of July, here at West Ham, who is the best heavyweight in Britain.
Frank, Tim Franks from BBC News. You've marshalled all your arguments and you say this is the biggest British fight of the century. But given that you also say that they were disgraceful scenes in Munich, given that, as far as I'm aware, this is the first time that a foreign licensed bout has happened in this country, does not a part of you think that actually this owes a bit more to theatre and a bit less to sport?
Well, it's certainly not theatre, it's a fight. And as regarding, you know, I think anybody who knows boxing, if you look at the various websites and media sites, all they're talking about is this fight. You know, we can all sit here and decide what we're doing, whether we feel right about what we're doing or not. You know, the BBC showed the Formula 1 from Bahrain, 50 people dead, somebody died on the day of the show. They're going to be in Ukraine covering the Euros. You know, that sits well with them. This fight sits well with me. I've not got a problem.
Frank, Adam, clearly there's a lot of animosity between the two men. How do you propose to prevent what happened in Munich happening?